Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. Oh, yeah, the college football playoff. We got the new rankings and all of that. We got a huge weekend coming up, and things are getting ready to get very real. It's time to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Absolutely. We've got some great games this weekend. This 12-team playoff has got the country in an uproar. They're so excited. There are so many fan bases that have a chance to get into the playoff on top of the ones that are already in. This is going to be the most exciting playoff in the history of college football, and I don't even think it's going to be close. Because instead of Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and then pick your other one, we actually have a bunch of teams that have a chance to win a national championship. That is very exciting, and I know you're pumped too. So let's get right on into this. All right, as you can see the layout here, you've obviously got Oregon set to possibly be the Big Ten. Well, actually, they're going to be in the championship, and they think they'll win. Now, granted, this is just preliminary. Texas, they've got number 2. Miami, they think they're going to win the ACC. Currently, that would be the situation. Of course, Boise State. And they would get a bye. Now, this is all going to change quite a bit. I have no doubt of that. You've got Notre Dame and SMU playing against each other. That'll probably change. Penn State and Indiana, I doubt they'd have 2 Big Ten teams playing right off the bat. But currently, that's the situation. Ohio State, Arizona State, and then Tennessee traveling to Georgia. That'd be the second time we'd have to play in Athens. I don't think it'll play out that way because Georgia's going to have a chance to win the SEC. They could wind up in that bye sitting there where Texas is right now. So, like I said, this is going to all flush out. By the time we get to Saturday night, we're going to know all of this, or at least we'll have a good idea until they do the final rankings. But we'll certainly know that things are going to be quite different. Now, let's take a look at the games that are most important. Tulane, that game might actually be important. That's tomorrow. And Boise State, that's another one that could have an absolute ramifications. That's Friday. Colorado's not completely out of it, but they pretty much are. Ole Miss is not completely out of it. They got to play in the Egg Bowl. I think they'll handle it. I don't know, though, man. I'm telling you, Mississippi State, they're very angry. They might could give them a game if Ole Miss doesn't show up, if they're too dejected. Then you've got Georgia at Georgia Tech. Now, one of the things that's aggravating the crap out of me, look at these 12 o'clock games. You got Tennessee at Vanderbilt. You got South Carolina at Clemson and Michigan at Ohio State. How can you have all 3 of those games at 12 o'clock? You got to be kidding me. I mean, the Michigan-Ohio State game is a must-watch. You've got South Carolina and Clemson at 15 and number 12. South Carolina is the hottest team in the country right now. And then Tennessee's playing a darn good Vanderbilt club to try to make sure they stay in the playoff, all at noon. Noon is supposed to be where a lot of the games are that aren't worth watching hardly. This is ticking me off to no end.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Yep. I'm not taking it anymore. I don't understand how that happened, but it is what it is. I'm going to have to just try to watch them as best I can. It's hard to focus on 3 games at the same time. My primary focus will be Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Michigan playing Ohio State. Oh, my gosh. I've told you, folks, the venom between these 2 clubs, it may be worse than any 2 teams in the country because of the sign stealing and Connor Stallions and all that crap.
Sign stealer guy.
So how can I not watch at least some of that? I'm going to try to watch as much as I can. I think Ohio State's going to try to run up the score. It should be a fantastic game. But Michigan, they're going to fight them as hard as they can. I mean, they will show up ready to go. The Tennessee-Vanderbilt game, Diego Pavia appears to be a little bit hurt. I know he's got a shoulder issue. He's got a knee issue. He doesn't look as fast in that game against LSU. I think he'd have been 100%, and he might have beat LSU. So we'll see what happens there. They do have a backup that's unbelievably fast and a great runner. So it's not like they're without a good quality backup. But, again, they'd rather have Diego at 100%. And I just don't think he will be. But he's still very dangerous.
That's right. Nice, man. I am dangerous.
So should be a great game at noon, and it's at Vanderbilt. And then the South Carolina-Clemson game, I'm going to tell you, this might be the game of the day, honestly, because South Carolina's been playing great. Lenoris Sellers has been developing and developing. He's a redshirt freshman. He started out, he looked like crap at the beginning of the season, but he has gotten better and better and better. He's a fantastic runner and scrambler. He kind of reminds me of a Dak Prescott. I've thought that for a long time, but I didn't want to put that pressure on him. But I swear I think this guy could be special long-term. 3-star, 4.0 student. Got to root for him. Then you've got some other interesting games. Arizona State against Arizona, they're not out of this thing either. Missouri is completely out of it. They're going to play Arkansas. Then here's a Miami-Syracuse game. That's a very important game because Syracuse is 8-3. They're a decent club, and Miami has been messing around with teams in the first half, and it's only cost them once. It could have cost them several times. Matter of fact, Virginia Tech had them beat, and then the refs reversed a call with no seconds left and gave them the game. Then another great game at 3:30 is Auburn, Alabama, the Iron Bowl. That's just an always epic, fantastic game. Auburn's coming off a huge win against Texas A&M, which really hurt A&M, and Alabama's coming off a horrible, embarrassing loss to Oklahoma. It's at Alabama. Alabama's got their pride.
My Alabama Crimson Tide.
Auburn hates Alabama. Well, look, it's just this last weekend is so much fun because the rivalries, they're unreal. I mean, these are teams that fan bases have to live with one another. And like I said, they have to see each other every day, go in and brag for a year. You got bragging rights. I mean, it's a big deal. It is especially a big deal in Alabama. So look for that game to be awesome. Now we've got a super interesting game here. That's Notre Dame traveling to USC. And we're going to find out a lot in this. USC is not a great team. They're a decent team. And Notre Dame, we don't know. Their schedule's been so easy. I mean, their only loss is to Northern Illinois Fighting Possums or whatever they are. This could knock Notre Dame out of it. Penn State's going to play Maryland. I think they'll be fine with them. It's at Penn State. If they lose that game, they don't deserve to be in anyway. Then you've got Indiana playing Purdue. Purdue is the worst team in the Big Ten, so Indiana, they should be a lot more comfortable back in their friendly waters, so to speak, not having to play a top 25 team. So I think they'll be fine, and they're already in. So as long as they win that game, they're in. Texas and Texas A&M, fantastic, huge, huge game. This has all the ramifications in the world. Whoever wins this will be probably playing Georgia in the SEC championship and having a chance for a bye. Now, a lot of SEC teams wouldn't even want to play in that because it's just an extra game where you could get, somebody hurt. Or Texas A&M, look, let's say they get to the SEC championship game. If they lose that game, they're out, period, because their record's not good enough. They've already got 3 losses. Whereas Texas only has the 1 loss. But if they lose to Texas A&M, now they got 2 losses, and they don't have any big wins. Nothing. They played Georgia, got whooped at home. They'd be getting beat by Texas A&M. They wouldn't have any good wins. So I tell you, Texas, there's a lot of pressure on them. It is not impossible they'd get kicked out of the playoff if A&M beats them. Now, they're a big name, big money. They'd probably hang on by their fingernails, but it would be close. One of those Texas politicians might have to get involved.
Ooh, I love to dance a little sidestep. Now they see me, now they don't. Have come and gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, you got Oregon playing Washington. That should be no problem. These teams are pretty much out of it, the rest of them. So I really don't have any problem with these rankings right now. I think they're about right. I just don't see, like I said, all of this is going to change probably somewhat dramatically after this weekend. I can't imagine it's going to stay anywhere. Well, it's going to change a lot. Don't get upset if you don't like where your team's ranked. It's going to change. It almost certainly will. And then again, like I say, you got the conference championships. Everything's got to turn on its head. And there's going to be 4 teams guaranteed a loss because of the conference championship. How's that going to affect them? This is so interesting and so compelling. I don't know what the ratings are going to be like, but they're probably double what they've been in the past. Certainly this weekend, they're going to be through the roof. All these games that only their own fan bases would care about, now everybody in the country is going to care about. I'm going to be watching games that I wouldn't normally be that concerned about. But everything affects everything now. Man, this 12-team playoff is going to be fun.
Oh, boy, is this great!
And my Tennessee Vols, they better hang on and beat Vandy. I tell you, I'm nervous about this game. I'm not going to kid around, and rightfully so. But if they go in there and handle them like they typically always do, I mean, this is a team we've beaten so many times by 40. But Vanderbilt's a very different club with Diego in there. He gets his team excited, and they believe in him, and then they start believing in themselves, and it's just a whole thing. Anyway, should be fun. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know continue to cover all this fantastic college sports news. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that little button right there. It will not cost you a dime, a nickel, a farthing, a peso. And right over here's the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. Something to do with the algorithm. You know I'm always battling the algorithm. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.